I've had 30 some odd fights. I've only lost 2. Show me a guy in the top 10 that hasn't lost. And almost all of them been knocked out. Almost all of them been cut. Almost all of them been knocked down but me. So on that alone should give me the qualifications to be the champion. I've earned that right.
A good right by Lyle. A good right by Lyle, and he's got Foreman in trouble.
That's something. Whew. Only certain guys can do that. Ron Lyle was one guy who could hit you so hard it didn't hurt.
George Foreman, and the man who made him say that, a gang leader. A man who died twice on an operating table, then came back to knock people out cold.
Lyle all over. Lyle has Foreman in trouble. Foreman is down. It started with a right, then a left. Foreman looking over here.
In 1975, Ron Lyle wasn't just another opponent. He was a storm waiting to happen. But could raw power and prison-born grit be enough to silence the greatest talker in boxing history? Let's rewind to when a gangster went toe-to-toe with the greatest. Ron Lyle didn't come up through Olympic trials or golden gloves. He came up through solitary confinement and hospital stretchers. Born in the tough streets of Denver, Colorado, Lyle's early life was a war zone. In 1961, during a gang clash, he stabbed a man in what he claimed was self-defense. The court didn't agree.
Did you do it?
Well, I don't think I did, but the judge, the jury thought I did, so I guess I did,
He got locked up, and inside that concrete jungle, he almost didn't make it out. Lyle was stabbed in prison. He flatlined twice on the operating table.
I was stabbed in the abdomen over here,
Wasn't that when the prison doctor signed your death certificate?
Yeah, one of them did, but Dr. Townsley, he didn't give up,
Most men don't come back from that. Lyle did, with a vengeance. Behind bars, he found boxing, and not just shadow boxing in the yard, actual talent. When he got out, he was 28 years old, ancient to begin a boxing career. But he had fists like wrecking balls and a chip on his shoulder the size of a cinder block. Within just a few years, Lyle bulldozed through respected heavyweights like Oscar Bonavena, Buster Mathis, and Jimmy Ellis. He didn't just win, he terrified opponents. The man growled in the ring.
A good left by Lyle. Foreman holding on.
We're going here,
Foreman staggering all over the ring. Lyle against the ropes, throwing the left uppercut. Foreman in trouble again.
Fought like he was in a street brawl and walked away like it was just another Tuesday. To the public, he was a mystery, a former convict turned contender. To insiders, he was a serious problem. A man who could knock the smile off anyone's face, including the always smiling Ali. By 1975, Ron Lyle had earned his shot at the title, and standing across from him would be a man who had never been silenced, not by politicians, not by other fighters, and certainly not by pain. But Lyle wasn't interested in hype. He came to end the conversation permanently. The year was 1975, and Muhammad Ali was in the middle of one of the most iconic chapters of his career. He wasn't just fighting opponents, he was fighting time, critics, and the lingering shadow of his exile. After being banned from boxing in 1967 for refusing the Vietnam draft, Ali spent years stripped of his title and reputation. But like all great stories, his comeback was nothing short of cinematic. By the time Ron Lyle stepped into the picture, Ali had already reclaimed his crown with fights that would echo through history. He'd gone to war with Joe Frazier, not once, but twice. He'd pulled off the impossible with his rope-a-dope strategy, taming the monstrous power of George Foreman in the legendary Rumble in the Jungle. Every fight was a global event. Ali wasn't just a boxer anymore, he was a phenomenon. Lyle, however, was no Foreman. He didn't rely on intimidation or towering size. He was a grinder, slow to start but deadly if you stood still for even a second, and Ali knew it. In the build-up, he studied Lyle's style, mocking him while predicting the outcome with uncanny accuracy.
I'm not gonna block him, I'm not gonna run, I'm just gonna come in and say, show me something, sucker. And after 6 or 7 rounds, boy, and in round 8, you shall leave. I'm telling you now before the world, you will leave in the 8th round.
Ali's confidence wasn't an act, it was part of his strategy. He got inside your head, chipped away at your self-belief until you were swinging angry, wild, and tired. But this wasn't some nervous rookie. Ron Lyle had survived gang fights, prison riots, and a literal brush with death. No amount of trash talk could rattle a man who'd already stared life's worst in the face. May 16th, 1975. Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas. The heat of the Nevada sun was nothing compared to the tension boiling inside the arena. On one side stood Muhammad Ali, light on his feet, heavy with charisma. On the other, Ron Lyle, stone-faced, broad-shouldered, fists loaded with malice. From the opening bell, Lyle made one thing clear. He wasn't there to dance. While Ali took his time, bouncing on his toes and slipping into rhythm, Lyle marched forward like a man on a mission. His punches weren't flashy, but when they landed, the arena echoed.
Only once was Ali heavier than he weighed in today at 224.5. He weighed in at 227 for a lack.
Early on, Lyle delivered a shot that snapped Ali's head back, so clean it left blood trickling from the champ's nose.
Seems to be a little bit of blood out of Ali's nostril.
The crowd was stunned. This wasn't the typical slow start Ali gave fans before taking over. Lyle was actually winning rounds. Ali, true to his pre-fight prediction, seemed almost passive, letting Lyle come forward, letting him tire himself out. Some thought it was strategy. Others thought Ali might have finally met his match. But even as Lyle piled on the pressure, Ali stayed composed. He talked to him between clinches. He laughed off heavy shots. He leaned back on the ropes and let Lyle fire. Absorbing, measuring, waiting. All part of the plan. Lyle, for his part, didn't blink. He didn't taunt, didn't pose. He just fought. And for the first few rounds, it worked.
Ali is talking to Lyle, taunting him. You see the mouth open, the half stare across his lips.
He pressed forward, crowding Ali and stealing rounds from under him. The unthinkable was taking shape. The man who had stared down Sonny Liston, outsmarted Joe Frazier, and humiliated George Foreman might be losing. But if history has taught us anything, you don't count out Ali after round 5. Round 6, the turning point. Muhammad Ali, who had spent the early rounds absorbing Ron Lyle's brute force, suddenly changed gears. The footwork returned. The jab started snapping. The smirk crept back across his face.
Concerned. Now he's beginning to circle in the old Ali manner because he found out he can't use the rope.
His gloves flickered like camera flashes. Jab, jab, right hand. Lyle's attack slowed. He wasn't gassed yet, but the gears were grinding. And when a fighter starts thinking instead of reacting, that's when Ali strikes. Ali's corner could sense it. They yelled, "Stick him, champ, stick him!" And stick him he did. Ali peppered Lyle with combinations that didn't knock him down, but humiliated him.
Ali actually pulled Lyle into him against the ropes, had his hands behind his neck.
By the 8th round, the very round Ali had predicted, the crowd could feel it. Lyle was missing more than landing, and Ali's punches were now echoing off his head like drum beats. One combo in particular, a left jab followed by a short right hand, rocked Lyle back against the ropes.
He is not going to knock Ron Lyle out as predicted. Ali is winning this round quick. Not going to knock Ron Lyle.
The magic was back, and the momentum had shifted. What had looked like a slow fade into defeat now resembled a familiar Ali blueprint: frustrate, fatigue, finish. By round 11, it wasn't just Ali's fight to lose. It was his story to finish. And like all great storytellers, he knew exactly when to deliver the final chapter.
Lyle is in trouble. He hurt him with a left. Lyle went back against the ropes. He's desperately trying to cover up. Ali won't expend himself while Lyle's against the ropes. But Ali smells blood.
Ron Lyle, still standing, still swinging, looked like a man fighting two battles, one with Ali and the other with his own body. His legs were stiff, his punches slower. The earlier confidence in his eyes now gave way to desperation. He had done more than many expected, but now he was stuck in a ring with the master of late-round carnage.
11th round action, and Ali in command. Lyle's eyes are glassy. He's staggering. This time Lyle is ready to go. Look at that. Muhammad Ali. This is Muhammad Ali.
Then it happened, that signature Ali explosion. Out of nowhere, he launched a flurry. Left, right, left again. Lightning quick, pinpoint accurate.
See, even at 33, suddenly from nowhere, the left cut to Lyle. Sent him back against the ropes. Ali in total command. Being separated now. The fight is stopped. fight. Referee Bird Hernandez.
Ali pressed forward, smelling blood. The crowd at Caesar's Palace was on its feet. Commentators' voices jumped an octave. Ali was unloading, and Lyle wasn't punching back. The referee, watching Lyle's body go limp against the ropes, knew what had to be done. The fight was stopped. Ali didn't jump. He didn't gloat. He simply turned, smiled, and walked away like a man who just proved, again, that greatness isn't just about power. It's about timing, strategy, composure, and knowing when to strike. Ron Lyle didn't collapse. He didn't quit. He just ran out of time. And in those final moments, the gang leader from Denver learned a hard truth. It doesn't matter how hard you've lived or how many times you've been knocked down. You don't beat Muhammad Ali at his own game. When the dust settled and the crowd's roar faded into echoes, Muhammad Ali stood tall once again, not just as a winner, but as a man who had taken on every style, every background, every threat, and still found a way to rise. Ron Lyle didn't leave that ring a loser. He left it a made man. He'd gone 11 hard rounds with the baddest mouth and the sharpest hands in boxing. He'd stunned Ali. He'd made him bleed. And for a few tense rounds, he made the world wonder. Could he actually pull this off? The answer, in the end, was no.